all have days where we are just not feeling the happiness that we should feel, where we just do not have that positive energy radiating out from deep within us, especially those of us who have a chronic illness. Like in my case, I am a heart warrior and I have a heart condition. And so there are some days that I feel really burdened by that. So I wanted to tell you guys my top 5 things that I do in a 15-minute time span when I just need to rev up my energy. These are my favorite. I'm sure that you guys will probably have more to add in the comments, but I just want to share these with you. And first of all, I want to thank my sweet dear friend here on YouTube. Her name is Jessica Myrose. Her channel name is Jessica Myrose. I'm going to link her channel and today's playlist, 15 minutes of happiness, in my description box below. And some of my friends here on YouTube are going to do something for 15 minutes that makes them happy, or they're going to do something around happiness. For me, I'm going to talk about having a chronic illness, my top 5 go-tos when I have that extra 15 minutes and I can turn my mood from negative to positive in 15 minutes or less. So when I am feeling, I, for example, have a chronic illness. I have what's called heart failure. And some days that having that illness can be very overwhelming and it can be all consuming. And I find that if I take out a piece of paper, in my case, I have an actual journal, and I write down everything that I can think of that I am grateful for 15 minutes, it takes my mood from negative to positive in a matter of minutes. Because I know sometimes it's hard, but if you are alive and you are here, that is one thing that you can write down to be grateful for. So I just clear 15 minutes and I sit down and I write down everything that comes to mind that I am grateful for. And if I run out of things to write down, which once you start, it's pretty hard to run out of things, but if I run out of things before my 15 minutes is over, then I just start free writing. So whatever is in my brain, I just write it on a piece of paper. And I absolutely, it gets everything out of my brain, gets it on paper. It just helps me so much. And honestly, just that 15 minutes can turn my whole day around. And I love to write in my gratitude journal at night before I go to sleep, because then I'm focused in on something positive before I go to sleep. I can write down even the positive things that happened in that day and reflect on those. So that is the last thing that I'm writing and thinking about before I go to sleep. And so it helps me to wake up the next day in a more positive mindset. So that is 15 minutes that I can spend and make myself happier. So that is tip number 1. My second tip, this is like the best. Grounding outside. And I know at first it sounds a little intimidating, maybe a little scary, maybe a little odd, but once I tried it, I was completely and totally hooked on it. So all you do is you take off your shoes and socks, you go outside, and you can walk on the grass, you can just stand. Oh my goodness. See if you can do it for 15 minutes. It's a game changer, honestly, because you're outside, you're getting that fresh air, you're out with nature, you hear the sounds of nature, you see the sights of nature, and you can feel the grass between your toes, and it is so refreshing, and it just helps to bring you centered and to bring you back into focus. And it's just I've learned so much from grounding, because I've learned how to distract myself in quietness, total quietness. I've learned how to use my 5 senses. What am I seeing? What am I smelling? What textures am I feeling? And when I'm in a stressful situation, like if I'm at a doctor's appointment, which we all know doctor's appointments can be stressful, I can use what I've learned from grounding outside without my shoes on to help bring me down and to help calm me down in even stressful moments. So not only does that 15 minutes that I'm doing that day that I'm not so happy, that brings me 15 minutes makes me happy, and It also crosses over to other areas of my life where I am more stressed, and maybe I can't take off my shoes and socks and put my feet on the ground, but I can use some of the techniques that I've learned when I'm just standing outside without my shoes on. My third tip, this is my go-to every single day, is to walk. Take that 15 minutes, go for a walk. It can be a slow walk. It can be a brisk walk. Whatever you can do, whatever level you are with. If you need to invite somebody to walk with you, sometimes I invite my neighbor to walk with me. Sometimes I prefer to walk alone and walk in solitude. Sometimes I like to walk in quietness for that 15 minutes. Sometimes I want rap music blaring in my ears for that 15 minutes. Sometimes I like to take my dogs and walk for that 15 minutes. But that 15 minutes of walking, it just gets those happy energy juices flowing and just helps to turn around your day. And again, it takes away your thoughts from whatever is weighing you down, whether it's a chronic illness or some kind of stress that you have going on in your life. It takes that 15 minutes and you can forget about it. You can just walk outside and just enjoy nature. Just that 15 minutes of walking, and again, walking at your own pace. Do you feel like whatever you feel like walking at, but it just gets everything flowing and you're just outside and it just feels so good. And exercise is so important, especially if you have a heart condition, because you need to keep your heart as healthy as possible. So it's a win-win. You don't feel happy, you're going to walk, you're going to feel happier, and you are exercising and helping your heart along the way. My fourth tip is to spend 15 minutes either meditating, doing yoga, praying, stretching, some type of activity like that. You might want to spend your 15 minutes, you might want to go to a quiet place, sit in a comfortable position, find like a corner of the room that you just want to just focus on and just silence the thoughts. Just completely silence them. You may want to do some yoga moves if you know some yoga moves. I sometimes just like to do some light stretching, just stretch my body out. Or sometimes I like to spend time with God, just me and God in a quiet place where I can bring things to God that are bothering me or things that I need to get off of my chest. And so however you choose to use that 15 minutes in meditation is up to you, but I'm just grouping meditation and stretching together because you could choose either one, because sometimes I will just get in a position if I'm doing some type of yoga and I will stay in that position and I will do some meditating in that position. And 15 minutes of this, you are going to feel like a new person. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy and you're going to be ready for whatever the day brings for you. My last tip, if you are feeling down and out, is to set aside 15 minutes for self-care. Self-care looks like whatever you want it to look like. For me, if I am not having a good day, self-care is a hot bubble bath with a candle burning. And I know that if you have a chronic illness, you may have limitations about that. Maybe you can't take a hot bath, but maybe you could do like a face mask for 15 minutes. Or you could pop open a book and read for 15 minutes, like do nothing but read. Oh, this is a good one. It's self-care, I promise. Take a book, whatever book you happen to be reading, take it outside and read outside for 15 minutes. Oh, the benefits of that are so phenomenal. Like you're just getting that vitamin D, you're getting that fresh air, you're outside, you're in nature. And it just really helps to turn things around, and you just distract your mind for a while as you read. And that's self-care to read, because you're taking time out for yourself. You're not doing anything but doing that reading. But definitely for me, my go-to is to take a hot bath or to take a shower, to light a candle, to put on some music, and just to relax and to just enjoy the moment and to be grateful and thankful that I have that moment to enjoy. I hope that you guys found these 5 happiness tips helpful, and I would love to hear from you guys in the comments and see what other things you guys could add and maybe help each other come up with different ways that you could spend 15 minutes just making yourself feel happier. Should I say making yourself feel happier? Sometimes you really have to do an actual effort to make yourself feel happier because it's so hard. Just life is hard in general, and it is so much harder when you put a chronic illness on top of that, or you put something else going on in your life on top of what is already a challenge. So these tips always help me. They're my go-tos. They're my 5 go-tos. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a rough day, these are the automatic ones that I go to and check off. But I really want to hear what you guys do, what tips you guys might have, what limitations you might have. So you might have completely different tips than I do. But I just want to encourage you today to take 15 minutes to stop and do something that's going to make you happy and make you feel happiness and joy, even if it's just for that 15 minutes. And I hope it's more. And most of these activities, these activities that I talked about today, all of them produce more than 15 minutes of joy because I feel happiness after while I'm doing them and after I am doing them. And I just want to thank my friend Jessica for putting this collaboration together and for allowing me to participate on this channel. And take care of your heart. And remember, I love you guys, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great day. Bye-bye.